Very good. Good evening, everyone. It's very nice to see you. It's 69 degrees. It feels like 69 degrees. The high for today was 72. I'd get like that.
What about the Nineveh territory in Canada?
I'm looking out my window. The wind is blowing, but it's still a nice day.
Wanda, you told me you were 39.
What'd you say?
You told me you were 39.
Yes, I am. I am 39. I'm Jack Benny all over again. So anyway, I plan on setting a record tonight. We're going to have a very short meeting because everyone has come prepared to speak. So I'm going to ask Ms. Kennedy to take attendance, and then we will move on. Is everybody ready?
Yes, we're.
All right, let's go.
Yes, Madam Chair. Ms. Willingham?
I'm present.
Peter?
Here.
Bergdorf?
Here.
Clay?
Here.
Grimm?
Here.
Joyce?
Here.
Lakakis?
Right here.
Mayo?
Here.
And Mr. O'Brien is excused. 8 present, Mr. Chair, or Madam Chair, I apologize.
Okay, very good. Do I have any guests? No. I just want to recognize Miss McLaughlin. She's with us tonight. And let's see, I don't want to miss anyone. Did you? Okay, so all right, so let's get started then. All right, you ready, Rebecca?
Yes, Madam Chair.
All right, go ahead.
Item 1 is approving the previous meeting minutes.
All right, can I get a motion? Where'd the motion come from? I got a motion from Mr. Peter. I got a second from Mr. Mayo. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All right, very good. Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Number 2.
Item 2 is authorizing a one-time amnesty period for reduction of interest charged on delinquent property taxes. This will be tabled at the request of the sponsor.
All right, thank you very much. So now we move on to current business number 3.
Item 3 is amending the 2021 Sheriff's Office budget for vehicle maintenance.
Hello, Sheriff Apple.
Hi, Madam Chairwoman. This is a request to move $118,000 from our insurance revenue recovery line over to our ambulance maintenance line. We're having an ambulance re-chassied. It was a 2006 ambulance. This ambulance to replace would be roughly $250,000. We're going with a new chassis and taking the box off the back of the old one. It'll be about $110,000. We should get about 110, or I'm sorry, not 110, but 10 years out of it.
Wow. So you said a new ambulance costs $250,000?
225, right around there, upwards to 250.
Ooh. All right, so we're saving some money. So this was the ambulance. I can remember, I think, when you bought this and you got a nice deal on it.
We bought it for $24,000. Again, it was an 06. We bought it used. We've got a few years out of it, and we're having a lot of issues with the engine and the mechanical system, but the box itself, the oxygen, everything else in the back works fine. So we want to just re-chassis it, and we think we're good for another 10 years.
That's wonderful. Questions?
And ma'am, again, this is coming from revenue recovery, money that we have brought in as a result of ambulance calls.
Motion.
I got a motion from Mr. Clay. I got a second from Mr. Peter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much, Sheriff Apple. We
All right, have a
appreciate
nice
you.
night.
Yep, be safe out there.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, number 4, Ms. Kennedy.
Item 4 is amending the 2021 Health Department budget for the Public Health Preparedness Coordinator.
Hello, this evening, Commissioner Whalen. How are you? Okay, very good.
Sorry about that. I'm well. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. How are you?
I'm doing very well, very well.
Great. So we are coming to you tonight to request a public health preparedness coordinator position. This is a position that even in the pre-pandemic world, we required to continue our efforts with emergency preparedness and with accreditation. The Public Health Preparedness Division currently has 4 people in it, and those 4 people have been responsible during the pandemic with planning every single one of our vaccination pods, coordinating all of our MRC, Medical Reserve Corps, and tasking them with training. So it's been a tremendous amount of work for these individuals, and we really do need an extra position. This position would be funded partially from our emergency preparedness grant and state aid reimbursement.
All right, so we have, is it just one position?
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Peter?
if there are no other questions, I'd like to make a motion to move this.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Who was that you, Mr. Grimm?
Yes, it was. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, my question is, will this position be funded in recurring years with this same amount of grant money? Or at some point will the county have to assume the cost of the whole position?
The grants are longstanding. We have no indication that they'll be discontinued. So the likelihood it is that will be continued to be funded.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Very welcome.
Okay, I'd like to second the motion.
Okay, so I got a motion from Mr. Peter. I got a second from Mr. Clay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Right.
Good night.
Hi, young Riley.
Number 5,
Item 5 is amending the 2021 Department of Residential Healthcare Facilities budget for administrative adjustments.
good evening, Mr. Slatsky. I see
Good
you in
evening.
that beautiful house of yours.
Oh, thank you. My lounge room.
It's nice to be home every now and then, isn't it?
Oh, very nice.
Very nice. Okay, we'd like to hear what your comments tonight.
Yes, thank you, and good evening. We're requesting to amend our 2021 budget. Our assistant activity leisure time director has retired, and we felt that being that we have a director, that the assistant director position is no longer required. We also have a person in the activity assistant position, which we no longer utilize. We only use activity leaders. So I am requesting to remove the assistant director position and the elimination of the activity assistant position. Those two salaries combined would be $69,536. And we want to move to replace with a certified occupational therapy assistant, which we need for occupational therapy and therapeutic recreation. And that will assist with our PDPM care system and reimbursement, and also create an activity leader position in place of the assistant position. And that would be at a cost of $31,437 rather. And the COTA would be 37.1. Those positions combined would be 68,537, and will reduce the budget by $999. And that would be annually for both positions.
Okay. Do I have any comments from any of the members?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Peter?
if there are no other questions, I would like to make a motion to move this.
Okay, I just want to ask Mr. Slatsky one question. What's our number, our residency number?
Right now, actually today, we went over 200 for the first time in a long time.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, we're probably gonna hold around there right now. We're trying to balance staffing, and we've been working very diligently with our people downtown in making certain adjustments, which is assisting us greatly. We hope those things to continue, and we know that census will continue to rise.
Very good.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Clay?
May I ask Larry a question, please?
Yes,
Larry, are you finished out at the nursing home? With, with the
construction.
construction?
Oh, yes. The construction project finished in December of last year,
Uh-huh,
and all new wings are open.
okay. And the rest of my questions, I will not take the time to ask on audit and finance, but I have seen no numbers. I've seen nothing. Is there a reason for that?
What do you mean, no numbers?
I mean, I've seen no statistics in terms of the MWE participation, the EO stuff. I've seen nothing at this point.
We just submitted this week the final documents. They went straight downtown. I'm sure you'll be receiving them shortly. They just, Gilbane is no longer with us, and they were partly responsible for obtaining those. So it took a little while to get Gilbane to get what we needed from them to finalize the report, which was done. And I'm sure you will have that shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? If not, I'd like to, who offered the, okay. I got a motion by Mr. Peter. I need a second.
Second.
I got a second from Mr. Bergador. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Before we move on, I just want to acknowledge Matt Miller has also joined us tonight. All right. Now,
Thank you.
Miss Kennedy?
Item 6 is establishing a requirement pursuant to real property tax law, section 487, sub 9, sub B, for a pilot agreement on all new solar and wind energy systems in Albany County.
Very good, very good. Mr. McGuire?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you for having me. Good evening, everybody. So I have submitted a request to see if the legislature would be willing to adopt a resolution pursuant to 487 sub 9 sub B to require pilot agreements for solar electric systems and renewable energy systems within the county. So as it stands, 487 exempts all solar arrays and additional green energy systems. It also allows for pilots for these energy systems, and it makes it so that the arrays are paying their fair share of real property taxes. Without a pilot, they are completely exempt from all taxes except for special district taxes. 487 sub 9 sub B, it allows us to remove the requirement to notice a developer of our intent to require a pilot agreement. As it stands now, developers notice the county, they send a letter to the county exec's office, and we have 60 days to respond to that notification, indicating our desire to enter into a pilot agreement with them. By adopting a resolution under this section, it would allow us to, it would actually remove that requirement to notice the developers, and it would just have a standing blanket requirement that all of these developers would be subject to a pilot agreement. One thing that I did not include in my resolution, my request that I should have indicated was that we should have a size minimum for these pilot agreements. I'm not looking, and I don't think we don't want pilot agreements for small residential scale solar electric systems. What we're really looking at is the larger commercial scale systems, and generally they're around 2 megawatts or larger. Some of them come in below 2 megawatts. So if I could, I would suggest that we maybe have a requirement that anything 1 mega, we can include in the resolution, anything that's 1 megawatt or larger be subject to this resolution to require a pilot agreement.
Okay, so I don't see anyone's hand up right now, but I do have a couple questions.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Joyce.
Thanks, Madam Chair. No, just if you want to get through the questions, that's fine. I was just going to please note my abstention on this.
Okay, all right. There was, so you're saying that residential homes are not, this is not applicable to them? Is that what you're saying?
So 487 grants an exemption. It can grant an exemption to residential scale solar as well. And if we want to make sure that we're not involving them or confusing anything with pilots for these small scale solar arrays, which is not the desire, if we put a minimum size requirement of 1 megawatt or larger in the resolution, anything greater than that would be subject to this resolution. And then we would, capture those large scale solar electric and green energy systems.
Mr. Bergdorf.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman. I read this 3 or 4 times, so I'm really glad you've kind of elaborated on it. Tell me how the county, city, town, village, and school districts interrelate with this resolution. Will this resolution allow all of them to negotiate pilots, or do they each have to have their own resolution putting 1 megawatt plus plan into informing them that a pilot needs to be negotiated?
So this resolution would only be applicable to the county. The other taxing jurisdictions, which would be the municipality, the local municipality, and also the school district, it would be up to them if they want to adopt a similar resolution. Under 487(9)(b), they are permitted to do that if they choose to.
Have any municipalities within Albany County adopted similar resolutions?
To my knowledge, no, not as of yet.
So this could, in essence, be a template that other municipalities could emulate.
Yes, sir. It could be.
Okay, but it does. But if we do it, and the local school district doesn't do it, and the town or city doesn't do it, then even a big facility would continue to be tax exempt.
So
for their level of taxation.
The resolution is indicating our express desire to require a pilot. If we did not adopt the resolution, we could still require a pilot as long as we respond to the notification that's provided to us from the developer within that 60-day window. So the other taxing jurisdictions, if they don't adopt a similar resolution or local law, then they can still respond to that notification. Under 487, the developer has to notice all of the taxing jurisdictions of their intent to develop. So they could still enter into a pilot agreement. And currently, right now, we are negotiating, we're in the process of negotiating 3 of these different agreements. In some cases, depending on the municipality or the location, the municipality is involved, the school districts is involved. Sometimes it's just the county. It kind of is a piecemeal approach depending on what that local taxing jurisdiction wants to do.
Okay, but are the general taxing districts sufficiently educated on this subject? Do you believe?
I do believe so, yes. As it stands right now, we're working with a few Hilltown municipalities. There's some local school districts, suburban districts that are engaged, and the local assessors who I work with more directly are all aware of this exemption, the implications of it, and they're on the lookout if they do receive one of these letters to notice them of development. They have an idea of what they need to do to move forward if the municipality or taxing jurisdiction wants to negotiate a pilot.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. So, Mr. McGuire, are the pilot agreements for the same terms for over the 15 years? Does it decrease, as time goes by, or?
Generally speaking, there's a 2% escalation, annual escalation in the pilot agreements. So what's been happening is the developers will say they are able to pay X amount. The county will receive a portion of that dollar amount, and then it'll increase every year by 2%, and then that comes into us.
Okay, all right. So what's the application process now?
So currently what happens, the developer will send a notification to the county exec's office. The Usually, Mr. Rogers will send a copy of that to me, and then we respond. My office will respond to the developer, and then we go from there. As far as negotiation, we'll go for that pilot agreement, and then the Department of Law has helped with drafting a template document that we're using for these pilot agreements. So we're pretty well on our way to having that all ironed out, and this will help us to make sure it's a more streamlined process, and we don't miss any of these going forward.
Okay, very good. Any other comments?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Peter,
if there are no other comments, I'd like to make a motion to move this.
I got a motion from Mr. Peter.
Second.
I got a second from Mr. Clay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much, Mr. McGuire, for your excellent.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice evening, everybody.
I'm sorry. Let me pull that back. Mr. Joyce
Thank you.
abstained. I'm sorry very much. Let's take that back. So it's not unanimous. Okay, so we have that on record that Mr. Joyce abstained.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night, Mr. McGuire. All right, Ms. Kennedy, number 7.
Item 7 is authorizing an agreement with the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services regarding the 2019 Cybersecurity Grant Program and amending the 2021 budget.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I couldn't unmute myself. Good evening, committee members. This is a request to accept a grant that was awarded to the Division of Information Services from the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. It is a 18-month grant for a total of $43,674 to purchase additional modules to help monitor the network, since there's been an increased utilization of Office 365, SharePoint, and OneDrive due to the pandemic. This is something that'll be used fairly quickly and will put to great use for cybersecurity purposes. There's no match to the county.
Okay, any questions or comments from the members?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Clay,
I'd like to make a motion, please.
I got a motion from Mr. Clay.
Clay's motion.
I got a second from Mr. Peter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much, Mr. Alderson.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Good night. And now number 8, Ms. Kennedy.
Item 8 is authorizing the distribution of mortgage taxes for the period of October 1st, 2020 through March 31st of 2021.
Mr. Riley.
Yeah, Madam Chairwoman, this is our normal semi-annual distribution of the mortgage taxes. The numbers have been certified by the county clerk's office, who receives the payments, and then has been checked over by the finance division and allocated as shown in the draft resolution that Mr. DeLella sent over previously.
Very good. All right. Do I have any questions or comments from our members?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Bergdorf.
Dave, can you help me read the chart? How much does the town, will the town of, it looks like the town of Colony collected almost $5 million. How much will they actually receive of that?
The distribution for the town of Colony is $1,932,994.
Is that somewhere on one of these charts?
That was in the resolution that was sent over. I did not see it in the backup.
Okay.
And I'm showing the town of Colony collected about 2.1 million based on the chart on page 49.
Chart on page 49.
49.
That's probably the easiest way to look at it, the breakdown.
Right.
Oh, that, okay, I see that. It's the semi-annual report, but the
Yeah,
page
see-
after that,
Yeah, it's a different.
from 10/1 through 3/31. And that says there was a total of 4.8 million. What is that number?
The
There's
total.
then local, then additional, then
Mhm.
special additional.
So I would have to check with the clerk's office. We only distribute out the basic amount.
Okay.
Oh, mhm. Okay.
Is the rest of the money amounts that go to other jurisdictions, like the county, the state, et cetera?
I would have to check. I don't actually know that off the top of my head.
Okay, I'm just curious, trying to figure out how to read these charts.
Yep. Yeah, how about I take a look at it and I'll give you a call after the weekend.
Okay,
Very good.
that would be
Very-
awesome.
Very good. Any other comments or questions? Mr. Peter?
Madam Chair, if there are no other questions or comments, I'd like to make a motion to move this.
I got a motion.
Full second.
I got a second from Ms. Lakakis. I got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for participating tonight. And I must say, I'm very pleased. We have a 7 o'clock here. And so I know everyone is smiling and happy. And so,
Motion to adjourn?
yes, I'd like a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Did I get that motion?
did.
I got a motion from Ms. Lakakis and a second from Mr. Peter.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Welcome.